That's a good Hello, Madam Judy. Is it okay to try and test so that we see if your video and audio is coming through?
Sure. Let me put on my, can you hear me?
Yes, I think.
Can you see me? Hello, can you see me?
Yes, we can see you now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you.
When the National Commission most of them are being funded by UNESCO. We have two national experts in the room, one will train us very soon. And we'll be interviewed and give you more details about the two projects that are being launched today. Our chief guest, allow me. We have UNESCO Regional Office online, as well as UNESCO headquarters online. We are going to be having them participate online. But before they join us, allow me to guest invite at this juncture our Secretary General, UNESCO, to tell us more about what UNESCO does in Uganda in relation to what we are launching today. I'm Secretary General. Most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hajara, for the introduction given. The Honorable Minister, represented by the Director for Culture, the representative from the UNESCO headquarters joining us online, the representative of the UNESCO regional office based in Nairobi, the PS, Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, our dear consultants, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rosie Agoi, the Secretary General of the National Commission for UNESCO. On behalf of the Uganda National Commission for UNESCO, I wish to congratulate Uganda, spearheaded by the Minister responsible for culture, for this milestone achieved where we are launching a 2-in-1 UNESCO, Arshberg, and Open Digital Roadmap project in Uganda. Allow me, before I proceed, to thank the team that put in a lot of time and other resources to interpret the provided framework and customized it to our Ugandan context for implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, you may already know that UNESCO is one of the UN lead agencies responsible for 5 major programs, and that is education, natural science, social and human science, culture, and communication and information. But above all, in the implementation of these programs, you may want to also remember that UNESCO was founded in 1945 after the Second World War. And at that time, it was about building peace in the minds of men and women through these 5 programs. And when we talk about culture, I'm sure you also can relate that culture plays a very big role in the achievement of peace and sustainable development. I represent Uganda National Commission for UNESCO, which is a liaison organization that links Uganda to UNESCO. So whatever we want to do as a country with UNESCO, it is our office that usually handles. So we are middlemen, so to say, and we report upward and downward and ensure that the resources, the programs aspire to are achieved and implemented and well coordinated. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to talk a little more about what brings us here together. In the recent past, there has been an increasingly explicit recognition of the role of culture for sustainable development and poverty alleviation. Countries have begun to view culture as an asset for in eradicating poverty, inequality, and discrimination, while seeking innovative development paths with full ownership of communities. Uganda is not an exception, and I would like to commend my sister here and her team for recognizing the role that culture plays in sustainable development. Culture enables sustainability as a source of identity with social cohesion, helping people make sense of the future. Development policies responsive to cultural context yield stronger and more sustainable development outcomes. And I would like to commend the ministry, especially in the development and advancing the implementation of the culture policy. This has been well done because when we understand the instruments that guide the implementation of ideas, then we are moving in the right direction. We also need to note that the activities in the culture sector are driven by UNESCO conventions. There are 6 of them, and Uganda has ratified 3 conventions on culture. We have the 1972 Convention on Protecting Cultural and Natural Heritage, which was ratified in 1987. the 2000 Convention on Safeguarding of Intangible Heritage, which we ratified in 2009, and the 2005 Convention on Protecting and Promotion of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions, which we ratified in 2015. These conventions, ladies and gentlemen, are very key in preserving our heritage in all its dimensions, and also in promoting creativity and cultural tourism. As much as these conventions are being implemented, a number of provisions, and I have to say, have not been given the attention they deserve, e.g. creating a local fund for the implementation of each of the conventions, designating a competent body to do research in the field of each convention, among others. This has made the culture sector to lag behind as compared to all other sectors. Although, of course, we are putting in a lot of effort, as you can see, to ensure that some strides are achieved. The 2005 convention that brings us here together, and which we ratified in 2015, not only contributes to sustainable development, but also recognizes the rights of governments to adopt regulations, policies, and measures to support the emergence of dynamic and strong cultural and creative industries. It ensures that artists, cultural professionals, and creative practitioners, as well as all citizens, have the capacity to create, produce, disseminate, and enjoy a broad range of cultural goods, services, and activities, including their own. Now we are in a dynamic era of technology. The objectives of the 2005 Convention on the Promotion and Protection of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions are to an extent threatened by the emergence of new technologies and devices. In order to address these challenges and offer opportunities of the digital technology, in 2017, the Conference of Parties approved the guidelines on the implementation of convention in the digital environment. Subsequently, responding to the request for more specific guidance, the 2005 Convention Secretariat developed an open roadmap for the implementation of the 2005 Convention in the digital environment, and this was approved in 2019. So it is against this background, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm happy to be part of this launch of the Open Digital Roadmap project in Uganda. The roadmap, we believe, will offer concrete reference activities to protect the means of creation, production, dissemination, access, and exchange of cultural goods and services in the face of rapid technological changes. The second equally important project that we are launching today is the UNESCO Arshberg project. Founded in 1956, the UNESCO Arshberg program continues to support artistic creativity and diversity. It was initially dedicated to promote the training of artists by awarding scholarships for the study of artists in residence. It was then redesigned in 2017 to support the implementation of UNESCO's 2 normative instruments addressing artistic creativity. And this goes on to address concerns of the status of the artists. And of course, after COVID-19, we know that the artists were left in a dilemma. Many of them found themselves falling out of the profession. And therefore, this particular project comes to address the cultural professionals, particularly women, vulnerable in the face of economic disparities. So we are on track, ladies and gentlemen, and Honorable Minister these projects will no doubt boost the sector. I would like to mention that UNESCO has other opportunities that need to be exploited. And I was, before coming here, talking to Madame Juliana, who is representing the minister here, that the sector needs to be boosted because it takes time to put ideas together, even if the frameworks are provided. It takes human resource, it takes financial resource to be able to do a good, bankable, sellable project. So if we do this, the opportunities are there. For example, we have not yet ratified other conventions. The underwater cultural heritage, the illicit trafficking of cultural property, and the Armed Conflict Heritage Convention. The others that we would really want to engage in and make significant contributions, especially to the SDGs and to front culture as a driver of sustainable development, would be activities like culture and climate change, because we now have climate change as a real threat. And without good climate, knowing that we are a green economy country, we cannot be talking of sustainable development. The other one is UNESCO Creative Cities. All these are opportunities. The frameworks are provided. But if the culture sector is not adequately supported, then we lag behind. The other countries are fronting everything that UNESCO puts across. They grab it and the next minute they're reporting on how they are already making changes here and there. So we have this, and I hope you can take it up with your concerned line ministry and ensure that we take advantage of the frameworks provided by UNESCO. Finally, allow me to congratulate you again upon this achievement. I wish you the best as we together make this journey and subsequently make culture an item in the development agenda of this country. I say this for God and my country.
Very much, Secretary General, Ghana National Commission for UNESCO, members, we really have had remarks. I'd like to thank you so much for unveiling all those opportunities that are available in UNESCO. And we commit, as the Ministry of Gender, as the ministry responsible for the arts and creative sector in this country, we commit to take lead in working with our stakeholders to ensure that we have those opportunities for continued development of the sector. Ladies and gentlemen, next on our agenda are remarks from our UNESCO regional office. I'd like to request persons managing our live streaming.
Thank you very much, Ajara. I don't know whether you can hear me clearly, and can you see me? All right. I think I can be well heard. I'm not sure. I don't know whether I can get a sign whether I can be heard.
We can hear you well, Madam Judy. Please proceed.
Okay. All right. I'll proceed. Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, represented by the Director for Culture and all the representatives of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Sports Development in this meeting. Secretary General for the Uganda National Commission for UNESCO, Madam Rosie Agoy, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and as we say in Kenya, all protocols observed. Good morning. It gives me great pleasure to join you today on behalf of UNESCO in the launch of these two important projects in Uganda, namely the UNESCO Arshberg project on the status of the artist and the pilot project on the implementation of the UNESCO 2005 Convention on the protection and promotion of the diversity of cultural expression in the digital environment. Uganda is one of the 12 beneficiary countries of the first Arshberg UNESCO call that was launched in 2021. The program was then conceptualized to become the operational arm of UNESCO in supporting member states in the design and new regulatory frameworks in the protection and the promotion of artistic freedom, including the social and economic rights of artists and cultural professionals. We are therefore very delighted to accompany Uganda in its journey to improve the working conditions and living conditions of artists in order to harness the potential as their potential as drivers of innovation and change. All of this is in the very heart of UNESCO's mandate through the 2005 Convention, as well as the 1980 recommendation concerning the status of the artists. Indeed, artists do not only produce work that appeals to the senses, their creations also highlight issues, challenges, norms, and encourage conversations driving development processes. Without artistic freedom, including the social and economic conditions necessary to foster artistic expression, it is not only artists that are deprived of their means of survival, but the society as a whole is missing an opportunity to imagine alternative futures. Moreover, culture and creative industries are a major driver for economic development. The creative sector contributes significantly to the global economy, representing 31% of the global GDP and 6.2% of all employment. That is a whopping 6.2% of all global employment. Therefore, artists and cultural professionals contribute to society in many ways, including economically, and they should be able to create freely and live off of their creative work, notably by receiving the same support and protection that is granted to other professional categories. However, as was seen during the COVID-19 crisis, artists and creative professionals often work in particularly precarious conditions. They often lack adequate legal professional status, fair remuneration, social safety nets, adapted tax conditions, mobility, as well as the capacity to unionize and exercise their freedom of expression. This is often due to a lack of an enabling legal environment that recognizes artists as professionals, that protects and fosters their capacity to live off of their creativity. Through digital technologies, though digital technologies represent new opportunities for artists, challenges remain regarding artists' capacity to protect and promote their work online. This is why the complementary UNESCO digital project will be important to strengthen the skills and capacities of practitioners in the audiovisual sector to access digital platforms in line with the newly launched National Film Strategy, while reinforcing awareness of the wider Uganda population in local content consumption through digital platforms. Developing and retaining creative talent through decent work and living conditions of artists and cultural professionals is thus essential to further harness potential of culture and creative industries. We believe these projects in Uganda will contribute greatly to improving the creative ecosystem and its impacts in the country. We are also particularly happy that they to contribute to this journey, thanks to the knowledge and guidance of two experts that we have worked with in the past, and that is Polly Kamukama and Tandieba Amos, who will be providing technical assistance to the Ministry of Gender, Labor, and Social Development in this mission, with the support, of course, of UNESCO. They will be able to share good practices in terms of cultural policy and the status of the artists, while promoting UNESCO's participatory policy-making methodology that calls for dialogue and consultation with all relevant stakeholders, including artist practitioners and civil society organizations. The participatory approach is essential to building well thought out, appropriate, and adequate solutions. These projects are all the more relevant and timely as they were launched after the adaptation of our historical declaration following the UNESCO World Conference on Cultural Policies and Sustainable Development, MundiaCult 2022, which was held in Mexico last year. Through this declaration, the ministers of culture in member states of UNESCO recognize culture as a public good and in an intrinsic value to enabling the drive of sustainable development. They committed to fostering an enabling environment conducive to the respect and exercise of all human rights, in particular cultural rights, and reducing inequalities, notably by strengthening the economic and social rights of artists and capacity building to leverage digital technologies for cultural employment. To conclude, I would like to congratulate Uganda and all the partners and stakeholders that have been involved in this process and the processes that preceded this particular launch, and to once more look forward to embarking on this journey together and reiterate the support UNESCO has in the successful implementation of this project. I really look forward to working again with the Ministry of Gender and Labor and Social Development, as well as the experts who have already been engaged with other UNESCO processes, and building on that, we really look forward to a successful implementation of this project, and of course, a thriving creative economy in Uganda. Thank you very much for your attention.
Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, including the development of the Quadriennial Periodic Reports 2020, which is submitted to UNESCO, and UNESCO has really been so helpful, so supportive in terms of funding, as well as giving us technical guidance as far as the implementation of UNESCO work is concerned in the country. Gentlemen, allow us to proceed further with the program. And next on our agenda, we shall have remarks from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, represented by PS, none other than Mr. Bakaye Bega. Mr. Bakaye Bega, I take the honor to invite you, sir, to come and address us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Angela, for the introduction. As I've been mentioned, my name is Bakaye Bega, Assistant Commissioner for Culture, but I'm standing in for Permanent Secretary. Who is unable to be with us due to other press engagements in the ministry. And I'm going to read the remarks. Madam Chief Guest, the State for Gender and Culture Affairs, represented by the Director, Region Director UNESCO Nairobi Office, the Secretary General NATCOM, staff of the ministry present, the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. My duty is a humble one to invite the chief guests to address us. But before that, I would like to first and foremost express my gratitude to the UNESCO for the continuous support rendered the ministry of gender labor involvement in the area of culture and creativity, particularly for considering Uganda among the 3 countries to implement the 2 projects aimed at boosting the local culture and the creative sector. Ladies and gentlemen, the projects supporting the improvement of the status of artists and increasing the digital capacity of cultural professionals in the audiovisual sector is aimed at reviewing the current regulatory environment for culture and for the cultural industry, designing new policy frameworks, improving the uptake of digital skills amongst filmmakers, and sensitizing policy makers on how to involve the creative economy in the digital environment, among other objectives. Our chief guest, I'm happy to inform you that film is one of the key priorities of the social development sector. And this is well reflected in the National Development Plan frame, as well as the Social Development Sector Strategic Plan 2020, 2021, 2025, 2026. These strategic plans emphasize strengthening culture and creative industries for employment creation and enhancing the national value system. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of Uganda is committed to promoting the culture and creative industries. We are all aware that culture and creative industries are one of the fastest growing sectors of the economy that cannot be ignored any longer. We've taken long to recognize this, but now I think the pressure is high. They provide one of the biggest opportunities for the young people, especially to get employed and earn income. It must be acknowledged that the film plays a vital role in human life as one of the most effective arts of communication, education, leisure, and promoting social interaction. Film has a significant role in creating useful life for the promotion of moral, social, and human development. One of the challenges facing the Ugandan population is that negative mindset. And to address this issue, film was identified as one of the areas for strengthening, which helps us to address the challenge of mindset change for embracing government development programs such as the Paris development model. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministry carried out a mapping study of culture and creative industries in 2004 and established that the age group between 18 and 30 are the majority players in the cultural domain of performing arts and celebrations, audiovisual and interactive media, design and creative services, books and press, cultural tourism, sports, as well as recreation. Honorable Minister, the ministry has established the Culture Management Information System under the Department of Culture and Family Affairs, where all information and data and statistics relating to the culture and creative sector will be captured and stored, for processed as well as managed. I'd like to thank NITA for all the support, as well as the staff of the ministry and the consultants who were involved in establishing this system. Honorable Minister, despite the contributions of the film sector to the economy, there are still gaps that hinder the development of the film industry. These include, among others, the inadequate infrastructure in this sector, lack of skilled manpower, limited training and capacity building initiatives, fragmented and inadequate legal and policy regimes, as well as underdeveloped distribution and distribution systems of the film products. Government is committed to work with all the stakeholders to to ensure that we address these bottlenecks that are hindering the growth of the film sector in Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad that this project will fill some of these gaps in order to strengthen the film sector. We are committed to ensure that the outputs of the projects are achieved and the follow-up interventions implemented for sustainability of the project will be done. May I, ladies and gentlemen, once again appreciate your presence here at the launch of this projects and thank the funders of these projects, which include UNESCO main office in Paris, as well as the UNESCO Nairobi regional office in Nairobi, UNATCOM, for all the technical and financial support extended to the ministry and ensuring that this project starts being implemented in Uganda. I would like to assure you of the government commitment support and commitment towards the achievement of the intended project objectives. And with those few remarks, allow me to take this singular honor and opportunity to invite our chief guest, the Honorable Minister, make her remarks and officially launch the film project in Uganda. I say this for all and my country.
The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, represented by Mr. Bakaye Bernard Lubega, UNESCO Regional Program Officer for Culture, Ms. Judy Ogana, UNESCO Paris, the Secretary General, Uganda National Commission for UNESCO, Ms. Rosie Aboy, the consultants for these two projects, Mr. Amos Tindiewa and Mr. Poli Kamukama, the staff of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, the film stakeholders, members of the National Culture Forum, and the media here present. I would like, on behalf of the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, to make the press release. The Minister of State for Gender and Culture Affairs is committed in another activity that you might be aware of. As to implement projects in consulting 10 agencies in cultural programming. In Uganda, we are all aware that also know that limited access of the artists to the global market, among a host of other challenges that have long prevented the sector from realizing its full potential. The key project activities for these two projects include the development of the principles for a new law for culture and creative industry, capacity building workshops for film practitioners, community screenings in the regional activities for the promotion of local content, especially in the area of the digital platform, regional stakeholder consultations, and capacity building of the different ministries, departments, and agencies. As part of the role of the projects, the ministry is going to work together with the two experts, Mr. Amos Chingewa, who is an economist but has a lens on the aspect of culture for a number of years, as far back as 2009, and is going to look at the issue of consulting the stakeholders to be able to come up with the principles for a new law, and that law will then be the one we shall move for government to approve. And then we have Mr. Polika Mukama, who is a film lecturer at Makerere University, who has been key in the area of ensuring that we digitalize the film sector. So each of these have detailed activities for the project, and we shall work together with them to ensure that we deliver on these two projects in the next 12 months. We believe that these two projects will directly impact over 100,000 stakeholders in all the domains of the culture sector, and indirectly over 500,000 stakeholders through different media, like social media, news and electronic print, through direct consultations with the stakeholders, and through the systems that we've already set up, like the culture management information system that the permanent secretary has already talked about. I now take this to appreciate all towards ensuring that we strengthen the sector and make it contribute better to the socio-economic development of this country. I would like to appreciate our strong partner, UNESCO Paris, for supporting us for a number of years. We'd also like to thank Nairobi UNESCO Regional Office, and then we have the Uganda National Commission for UNESCO, who are key in ensuring that interventions at country level on the function of culture are well coordinated. We'd like to appreciate the consultants for accepting to be part of this process, and we know together we shall win. I now officially take this opportunity to
Amsterdam.
Ladies and gentlemen, yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening is the unveiling of the two projects that we have been talking about. The chief guest is going to perform the function together with the National Secretary General of the UNESCO and the Permanent Secretary.
So I now take this singular honor to officially unveil and launch projects.
Indicate that we have the
So this is the project on improving the status of artists and culture professionals in Uganda with the support of UNESCO, Paris, the Uganda National Commission for UNESCO, and the General and Social Government for more than one country.
very much. Yes. Second challenge is the gender organization development. And lastly, we shall have the experts. Then officially open. Now, the members suggest that you remain here and take the photo as well, so that the chief guest goes back and does the Q&A at once. We need to capture our knowledge. Other members of the department can join us. Mr. Matamze, Jan, Madam Cecilia.
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Arshberg, UNESCO. UNESCO. Thank you very much. And let's break the seat. Here, the session. They are going to have the questions at once, then they can answer at once. That is one question. How much has been injected? And the project you're choosing is different. Okay, any other questions? From the media? Yes.
These are particular projects that are projects.
Thank you very much. And we expect other projects. Do you have any other in the pipeline? All right, any other questions? So I invite Chief Guest or Secretary General to respond to those questions. I invite the Secretary General first. Give my response and then the Chief Guest will also respond to the question of how much has been injected. But the Secretary General, whether we have other.
We are requesting the technical officer, chief executive, to answer that question.
How much?
So thank you very much. Allow me to start with the second question. These are two projects running. Would like to complete these two projects before we scatter the resources. The resources are time The resources are people. The resources are the same beneficiaries. However, we've developed a concept on how to ensure, according to the National Development Plan 3, the ministry responsible for culture and creative industry is supposed to develop a project on strengthening culture at household level. So we've already developed the concept, and the concept was approved by the Ministry Projects Committee, and then it will go to be presented to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. And through that ministry, there are 4 steps it will go through. We shall present the concept, then we present the project investment profile, and then we go to the pre-feasibility, and then we go to the detailed study. So our next plan, the coming financial year, is to concentrate and move that project so that we get financing to cover ensuring culture and creative industries project at household level is in place. So the good news is, at least at the level of the whole ministry, it has already been approved, because these are technical officers from all the departments of the ministry who have looked at that project. So that is about the project. In terms of the financing, these 2 projects, of course, financing is something that we believe
I'll begin with just I think there was another question. Thank you very much.
Culture here, of course, such a Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development here. We want to see that our films actually are recognized worldwide, our cultures are recognized, and want to make sure that actually Uganda is on the top notch on Hollywood, and Nollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here, of course, for improving the status of artists and culture professionalism in Uganda. Here, we, of course, is one of the gentlemen to see. How are we going to implement this, and what are some of the structures you're putting across to make sure that this actually is implemented?
First and foremost, I would like to say that this project is going to be implemented within the departmental structure.
Okay.
The Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. Okay. It falls under the Department of Culture and Family Affairs, okay, which is headed by the Commission for Culture and Family Affairs, and assisted by myself, the Subsection for Culture. Now we have assigned a project coordinator at the senior level. Ajara Arshberg, who is going to be the project coordinator, who is going to be working with the other stakeholders who will be involved in the implementation of the projects and supervising the consultants that are going to be assisting the department or the ministry to implement the activities as outlined in the work plan of the two projects. Now there are two projects, each of them being spearheaded by a consultant. One is Mr. Kibieva, another is Mr. Kamu, who are going to be assisting us for the technical assistance department.
You've heard it for yourself. Are we going to be actually where we are? Let's see in the next 12 months where are we going to be. Thank you so much and keep watching NBS TV. Commission for UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Rosie Agoy, here, of course, for implementation of improving the status of artists and cultural professionalism in Uganda. It takes my treatment to see that actually now the government is putting in a hand to make sure that actually our culture is really put up there and also improving the artists, meaning the filmmakers, musicians, and a lot more here in Uganda. What do you have to say about this project?
I think this project is very exciting, especially knowing that Uganda and Ugandan artists have been badly affected, especially the community. And when the project like this comes to improve their status, you know certainly they are going to be enhanced, and you know certainly what they are going to do as a result of this project will go a long way in contributing to their own well-being as well as to sustainable development at the country level. So I think this is a very welcome project, and I'm happy that I've been part of this history of the National Commission to ensure that at least we shall coordinate a very rich forward.
But is it only for 12 months? Are we going to be having it